Hello and welcome to Future Short Half Hour. I am Adibisi Olumide Ajayi. Today on the program, we have a pediatric consultant, a health specialist, somebody who is very loud in the fight against cancer, and somebody who is very, very passionate about the girl child education. She's also the wife of a governor. I'm sure you're wondering who it is. Stay tuned and you'll soon find out. Welcome back. And our guest on the program today is the First Lady of Kebbi State, Dr. Zainab Bagudu. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you for inviting me.
Now, you're an advocate in many causes, many causes. Drug abuse, child-girl education, cancer, women's health. What fuels your passion?
Well, I think passion comes as a result of need, as a result of when you see humanity needing something, you have to rise up to the occasion, you have to rise up to the need of the people around you. So these things that you have mentioned have come about as a result of the need of the people that I live with, that I work with, and I have responded to it in various ways, some of them consciously, some of them unconsciously. So that is what has happened. And as to what fuels it, the response of the people that I work for, that I live with, has always fueled me. When you see the girls being very passionate about education, when they respond to me, when I go to the schools, they want to learn more. They want to know what exactly this cancer is about. They don't want to get married at such an early age. So that gives you the burden to deliver more to them. And so you keep going and pushing the barriers and knocking on so many doors so that you can achieve more for them.
Now, you built a mother's room at the Federal Medical Center in Birnin Kebbi. Can you tell us how this came about?
Again, it came about as a result of need. Need coupled with my own personal experiences. So I had 2 babies, and one of them happened to have been born prematurely, and the other one wasn't born prematurely. But both of them needed a stay in a special care baby unit. And in a contrasting way, one of them was in a private posh baby unit, and so I had a room and I was very comfortable. But the other one was not. It was in a general hospital. She was jaundiced, and I had to stay. I had no room to stay. I was on the corridor along with hundreds of other mothers, and we were treated quite shabbily, I must say, even though the care that she got was excellent and her jaundice was treated very well. And the nurses were, in retrospect now, I realized that the infection control and the way the nurses handled that unit was probably much better than the one that was in a posh unit, if you like. So I had that personal experience of my 2 daughters, but I was approached by the doctors and some of the patients group of the Federal Medical Center in Birnin Kebbi about the plight of the mothers of babies that were born in the special care baby unit. And I saw for myself on a couple of occasions where the mothers are just lying on the corridor. The unit is not such a big unit, it's quite a small unit. It takes about maybe 20 babies. But the mothers have absolutely nowhere to sleep. They're on the corridor, they're sleeping in the rain, they're sitting in the sun. There is nowhere available in the hospital for them to stay. And one of the most important things when you're caring for babies, premature or not, is that bond, the bond between the mother and baby, and the ability to feed them regularly. If a mother is staying far away, it's going to be difficult and it will disrupt that breastfeeding cycle. The flow of breast milk, you have to express and keep it for the babies to be able to suckle from time to time. Their development is at different stages. Sometimes they cannot suck. They have to be fed through a nasogastric tube and so on. There are different stages, but it's important that apart from our culture is such that a baby is in hospital. It's not just the mother, the whole family wants to stay with the baby, anybody, an adult, a baby. So we should be able to provide a space, a safe and comfortable space for a mother who has just had a baby, who is dealing with stitches, who is dealing with all kinds of issues, for that baby, for that mother to stay, to be able to care and visit her baby regularly, at least for some time. So it took some time, but eventually we were able to do it. We raised the funds and we built a 10-bedded, a befitting, really, yes, it's a really nice mother's unit for the mothers of Benin Kebbi, I'd like to say. They were very, very happy. The hospital was very happy. It took a lot of burden and stress away from them. And I was really personally very happy and rewarded.
Apart from that, you also commissioned another facility for women who are breastfeeding. Can you tell us about this?
Okay, one of the problems that we have in sub-Saharan Africa, in Nigeria, in northern Nigeria, and in Benin Kebbi in particular, is malnutrition. And the problem of malnutrition starts from breastfeeding. We have very low rates of breastfeeding compared to what is recommended. We're only just creeping towards 50% now. And Kebbi State in particular is on the low end of malnutrition, of nourishment for us, what is supposed to obtain. And so in an effort to boost malnutrition rates, one of the recommendations of organizations such as the World Health Organization is that conducive environments should be created for mothers in working environments whereby they can take their babies to work and they can keep them somewhere where they can breastfeed. So we picked up on this initiative and we started advocating for breastfeeding rooms in workspaces in Kebbi State. And we've done a few, not just one. We didn't actually build them, but we redesigned them. What my office did was to advocate with the state government, with the civil service in particular, to request for a space to be made available. Like, for instance, the first one was in the secretariat, for the state secretariat, whereby a space was made available for us, for the mothers to be able to keep their babies and to go and breastfeed. So we designed the room and made it nice and friendly, hired a nurse that they can keep the babies with, and that's what we did. And then we did it in local governments. We haven't done all, but we've done quite a few, and the chairman that's cooperated with us, we were able to design the room, renovate it, and make it comfortable so that mothers can take their babies to work.
Apart from this, during your tenure, the immunization level of children has jumped from 18% to 74%.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
a very, very large disparity.
Yeah.
How were you able to achieve this?
Well, this shows you that when you have the will, there is a way. And it took about 3 years to achieve, but there were so many little and big things that were wrong in the system that once the government set its mind to it, we were able to identify them. And once it was achieved, the jump just came. It's my role as the mother of the state is an advocate. The fact that I happen to be a medical doctor and a pediatrician is an added advantage for which I have no apologies to anyone for. And I use it, and where I see the gap and where I can come in, I take it. So in this particular case, we have an excellent primary healthcare system, starting from the national primary healthcare to the state primary healthcare. So they were able to identify the gaps. And my role as the chief advocate is to take them and take everybody to His Excellency and say, Your Excellency, this is where the problem is. And where were the problems? Very simple. The cold chain. The vaccines are bought, but the fridges are bad. They're there. Not all, but some of the fridges are there. They're solar fridges, but they're bad. 70% of them were bad. So we need to fix them. Fine, He will let us fix them. So we brought in the people that need to fix them, and they fixed a lot of them. The distribution logistics, when they get from the state stores to the local government stores, how does it get there? When it gets there, how is it handled? The people that are actually going to do the vaccinations, are we paying them their allowances? So a lot of things like that. And then to the credit of the primary healthcare system, there were two committees that were started called the NERIC and the CERIC and the NERIC. NERIC is the national and the CERIC is the state one, Emergency Routine Immunization Committees. And they meet every day. It's a whole team. It involves the partners, the WHO, UNICEF, and the local teams from the state primary healthcare system, the routine immunization officers. Everybody comes together every single day to review what has been done, the midwives, the officers that are doing it. Have you gone? Where did you go? The hard to reach areas, were you able to get there? So a lot of effort was put into it. A lot of times they don't even know that the vaccination is going on. So you have to do that advocacy, jingles, dramas, talk to them in a way that they understand. So there's nothing new really that was done. We had this team, an operation called Wurjanjan, so in a language that they understand. And
what does that mean?
It just means just go at it in a Janjan way. I really don't know how to explain it, but it just means just attack it, heads on. Take it heads on. That's what it means, fully. And we're not taking any chances. We're going to attack this issue.
Excuses.
No excuses. And they did it.
We're going to go on a short break. And when we come back, the First Lady of Kebbi State will be telling us what fuels her in her fight against cancer.
Every day, over 100 women die in Nigeria during childbirth. And these are just the ones reported. Our wives, sisters, mothers, and most, if not of all these deaths, could have been prevented.
As at 2015, which is the latest figure we have, the maternal mortality rate in Nigeria is unfortunately increasing, and that is 814 per 100,000 women dying of childbirth. What is supposed to be a natural event, like you and I eating, and people die of that.
We saw all sorts of things in rural communities, and we found out that 60% of births do not actually happen in facilities. They happen at the place of traditional birth attendants who are not educated.
Amina and her husband are from Maiduguri, but have been living in Lagos in a compound community of 8 families. They are a hard-working community who keep mainly to themselves. The women in the community are petty traders and homemakers. They stay close to home and support the family with their income. This is Amina's 7th pregnancy. She's 26 years old and has only one surviving child. This time, she is alone in the compound with nobody to assist her as she goes into unexpectedly early labor. Obviously distressed and alone, lying on a mat on the floor, she shifts painfully as she tries but fails to find a more comfortable position. Amina's struggles have weakened, but she rouses herself to bang loudly for help. And succeeds in attracting the attention of a female neighbor who comes in to see what the commotion is about. Luckily, Amina knows what to do. Her mother is a traditional midwife back in Maiduguri. And Amina had watched her deliver babies often enough. Despite her weakened state, she instructs the neighbor on what to do. But it is too late. Amina delivers in a flurry of activity and confusion. The baby is stillborn. It gets worse. Amina is in extremely bad shape. Something is very wrong. Not only has the placenta not discharged, but she is now bleeding heavily. And both women do not know what to do. The neighbor rushes out to seek help. Any form of transportation will do. She drags one of the men from the community who is just getting back home to assist. They need to get Amina to the nearest hospital. Unfortunately, they are too late. Amina has succumbed to massive loss of blood and has died. Did this really have to happen? How could it have happened? Why did Amina have to die under such clearly preventable circumstances?
Bleeding is a major cause of death during childbirth. That occurs quite often following delivery.
Women need to seek antenatal at a government facility. That's when your health can be analyzed holistically.
I've encountered so many preventable situations, but little or nothing could be done because it was reported late.
It is very important that pregnant women register and attend antenatal services, as early detection of possible complications can be made and care advice given. Every step should be taken to arrange childbirth in a well-equipped health facility in the presence of trained midwives and where medical help is available if there is a complication during childbirth. Amina and her baby did not have to die. It cannot be said enough that your life and that of your baby is priority over any other thing. My name is Elvina Ibru, and this message is brought to you by the Future Assured program of the Aisha Buhari Foundation.
You're welcome back to the program, and we're still talking to Dr. Zainab Bagudu, the First Lady of Kebbi State, and she's about to tell us what fuels her passion. Now, you are very, very, very much interested in cancer, kicking cancer out of Nigeria. What brought this about?
Again, my interest in cancer came about as a result of the need and the gap that I saw in the cancer space in Nigeria. I later on found out that it's not peculiar to Nigeria, but it's a gap in cancer control that exists in low middle income countries. The gap starts from awareness. People are not aware. This is fueled by a combination of low education. I call it a lethal combination of low education and cultural misnomers. We have a lot of superstitious beliefs that is not limited to cancer alone, but it encompasses disease, a lot of disease processes. What do I mean by these? We tend to believe in superstitious things, in some wrongly directed religious beliefs that certain things are not ascribed to religion, while they're actually cultural. People will go to religious houses instead of going to hospitals. These are just cultural and health behavior seeking ways of our people. And all these combine to make diseases like cancer that are supposed to be detected early, it's detected late. Of course, there's an issue with the health system as well. We don't have proper screening services. And so diseases like cancer that are supposed to be detected early are detected late. So we actually started by awareness and screening. And we were helping people to be aware and so helping them to screen, in particular women, because the common cancers in Nigeria are the ones that affect women, namely the breast and the cervical cancer. So the foundation was screening for breast and cervical cancer and telling women in different groups, young, old, about what causes it and why you should do it. And we were offering the service, some for free, some subsidized, but we had to do something about it, and it just really caught on very fast. And so again, when a time came that we couldn't cope with the amount of people that were responding to the call. We call on them, we say, come and get your tests done, come and get your tests done. The foundation just kept growing, and so we have to seek for assistance, we have to apply for grants, we have to apply to well-meaning individuals in the community. We have to create novel ways of raising funds to be able to screen people, to be able to treat them. So we kind of evolved through different phases. We're creating awareness, we're helping to screen. When I say screen, these are not free. They're tests that are carried out on women, checking their breasts, doing the cervical smear, doing the actual x-rays, which is a mammogram. It's a special x-ray of the breast. It involves a machine, it involves a specialized doctors. These all cost money. We're going to schools, we're talking to school children. These are all different programs that the Medicaid Cancer Foundation runs. So we have to create ways in which to raise the funds for it. And how do we raise these funds? There are different fundraisers that we do through the year. One of the major ones is the walk against cancer. I think that is the major one for which the Cancer Foundation is known, and it happens every year in October. We have a massive walk in Abuja. The reason we have it in Abuja is because it's the capital of Nigeria. The corporate bodies that sponsor that walk, they donate, and we raise money that we use to fund treatment and various programs for cancer patients from all over Nigeria. The walk happens in Nigeria, but the patients come from across the country. We do not limit it to Abuja, we do not limit it to Kebbi. I say this all the time, but it's like nobody listens. The Medicaid Cancer Foundation has been in existence for 10 years now. I have been the wife of the state governor of Kebbi for 4 years, and we've been doing this for so long, and we will keep doing it. It will be sustained for much longer after that. We've also started a series of summits on data collection. Well, that's a very important one to us now, because without accurate data, we cannot get the right funds coming to the country. Federal government has done quite a lot with respect to cancer treatment, and for that I must commend the administration of President Buhari. There was a time when we would talk about cancer treatment, maybe about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and say oh, there is nowhere to treat cancer in Nigeria, you have to go to Ghana, you have to go to India, and all us advocates, that was a shout, we don't have centers. There were some LINAC machines, this is the radiotherapy machines that were brought into the country by previous administrations, but they were all dead. They were bought without maintenance, they were bought without the adequate regular updates that were supposed to, but they were all dying. One or two would cough and start and stop, and you will hear people from Calabar, they have to go to Sokoto. But thankfully, in the last, I'd say 3 years, we now have 2 working in Abuja in the National Hospital and 2 in Luth in Lagos with the National Sovereign Wealth Insurance, Sovereign Wealth Agency, NSIA, and they are doing a lot of good work in that respect. The October work is one of the major ways in which the Medicaid Cancer Foundation raises funds, so, and the inhabitants of Abuja know about it and environs. People come from as far as Kano, Lagos. The best way to key in is to go online and buy a t-shirt. And that way, the proceeds from the t-shirt sales goes to helping a cancer patient, and join us on the day of the walk. We are creating awareness. Most importantly, we're raising funds that goes towards helping cancer patients. You find that by December, the walk happens in October, and the next major event that we have in the foundation is the disbursement of funds. By December, we start to disburse the funds, and we do that in trenches. And we do it in an open manner. It's very important that we do it under the media so that people know that these people have received the money. Why? Because, you know, we just need you to know transparency. It's a huge amount of people turn out, and I think it's one of the biggest events in Abuja now. I walk, everybody walks. We've had the wife of the vice president join us. We've never had the wife of the president join us. Maybe she'll join us this year. But Future Assured join us. They join us every year, and we're very, very grateful for that support, and we appreciate it. And we know they will join us again this year. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being on the program.
Thank you for asking me.
Thank you. That's all we can take on the program today. I'm sure you've all learned a lot about the intricacies and how things work in the cancer world. Do join us again next week for another episode of Future Assured. I am Bisi Ajayi.